All right, I got 6 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome to this special live Facebook Live that I'm doing for our friends, our Facebook friends and family. My name is Russell Pete. Obviously, if you're watching this live, you know who I am. I just wanted to share a few. This live won't be long. It shouldn't be long. I just have a few updates I wanted to share with you and a couple of announcements I want to make as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule this evening to watch the live, or maybe you're watching the replay of the live. Thanks for taking time to watch it. But as I said, I wanted to give you a couple of updates real quick. Some of you know, and maybe some of you have been paying attention by the pictures that I've been posting, is that we are no longer in Mexico. A good friend of mine said, Russell, judging by the leaves on the ground, it doesn't look like you guys are in Mexico anymore. You're right. We're not. So here's the update, guys. We have officially moved back to Virginia from Mexico. We moved to Mexico in July of 2020. When I say we, I mean me, Carol, and our 2 young children, Russell the third and Amelia. Our 2 older girls obviously are living life there in Nashville. They're both attending Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, and loving it. They're the best of friends. They've got a condo together, and they're just having a great time. In fact, this weekend they're in Phoenix at a big convention. But anyway, we are back. We moved back to Virginia in July of this year. We've been here now, I guess, 4 or 5 months. And the reason we moved back, because the bottom line is our 2 little ones just weren't happy in Mexico. At least that's what we thought. They weren't happy. Even though they're the most popular kids on campus, both of them fluent in Spanish, they just weren't happy. We had a great church, that small church that we enjoyed. We loved that church, Lakeside Community Fellowship, with a great team of folks there, great pastor, Pastor Dave and his wife, Lorraine, great friends there. But even though they had friends at church, friends at school, both fluent in Spanish, we found out they weren't happy. In fact, Carol had been telling me that for months, that kids weren't happy. And I thought, they need time to adjust. Oh, you need to talk to the kids. You're not happy. I said, maybe you're making a big deal than it really is. And about this time last year, she says, you need to talk to your kids because they're just not happy. I said, what do you mean? She says, they're the ones crying me to sleep every night that they're not happy. They want to go back to Virginia. So I met with the kids individually because I didn't want them to kind of, jump me together. And before I could ask the question, would you like to move back to Virginia? Both of them said, absolutely. And so anyway, we talked about it, prayed about it. And in January of this year, 2023, January 1st, we sat down with the kids to do our annual goals for the year. And we shared with the kids that we had set a goal to get them back to Virginia and back into their school, Summit Christian Academy here in Virginia, by the start of the school year. And of course, our kids, they started bouncing off the walls. They were so excited. So that was confirmation to us. Plus, we had seen them interact with their cousins and some family over Christmas. And that kind of did it for me, because I realized that there's some things you just can't substitute, some things you can't replicate no matter what you do. And that environment of success, so to speak, is what we were missing here in Virginia. So we made a decision moving back. We told them it was going to be a lot of things had to fall in place in order for us to make that happen. We had to find a place to live because we had sold our house here in Yorktown to the people, and the people who bought it also bought our furniture from us as well. So we had to find a place to live, get all new furniture. We had to make sure that they had spots for us at the kids' school, and a lot of things had to fall into place. So we began that process of looking for a place here in Virginia. And long story short, as we were planning and preparing to move back to Virginia, I like to say God has a sense of humor. So we had decided we were getting ready to take the kids, all 4 of our kids, to Europe on a Europe vacation, as you may have seen my Facebook profile. Before we left for Europe, we decided, we should go see Dr. Rubio, my cancer doctor, for our annual checkup. And I say our annual checkup because my wife Carol had discovered a small lump in her right breast about 3 years ago, and Dr. Rubio had been monitoring that lump on her breast for the last 3 years with no activity, just one little tiny blood vessel, no activity for 3 years. So we go for our checkup in early May of this year. And we'd typically be in and out. I'd give blood, she'd give blood, she'd go get an ultrasound, and then we'd leave. In the next couple of days, Dr. Rubio would follow us, give us a call and let us know, hey, things are looking great. No change for Carol. You're still cancer-free. But this time, Dr. Rubio pulled us aside into his office, sat us down and says, look, I'm a little concerned that this mass in Carol's breast has gotten quite a bit larger since the last time you guys were here, which is about a year ago. And he says, I'm not worried. I'm just a little concerned. And I think it may be God's way of telling us it's time for us to remove this thing, maybe do a lumpectomy, send it out for testing. That way, what the next step is. Of course, we agreed to that. He says, but I know you guys are going to Europe. I know you're moving back to Virginia. So go ahead and get to Europe, have a fantastic vacation, moved back to Virginia, but then get back here to Mexico as soon as you can so we can do the surgery for Carol. So we got planned. We had a phenomenal time in Europe, as you saw in my previous post. If you can scroll down, you can see the pictures in the video. Got packed up and got moved to Virginia, turned around, flew back to Mexico for Carol's surgery. And then we came back to Virginia to get moved in, get settled into our new place. As I said, we had to buy all new furniture and everything. It was so crazy. We didn't have anything except our clothes and pictures. We had to buy trash cans. You never thought about that. We didn't have any of that stuff. So we got back, we started to get settled here at our new place here in Virginia. And we got a call from Dr. Rubio letting us know that the pathology had come back from Carol's surgery with positive for breast cancer, adenocarcinoma. So, yep, that meant Carol had breast cancer. And but he said, don't worry. He said, we've got all of her blood work here. So I'm already started to work on her customized vaccine, which is really Dr. Rubio's secret weapon. He does immunotherapy. So he was already started to create her customized vaccine, which is what he's going to use to train her body to attack and to kill her cancer cells. He says, I just need to get back here in the next 4 to 6 weeks so we can start the treatment. We went back for her to start her treatment at the end of right after the kids started school. So end of August, she was there for 4 weeks for her initial treatment. Dr. Rubio was super impressed with how well her body was responding to the treatment, and she was doing really, really well. In fact, she came home, went back for her first follow-up visit about 6 weeks after her initial treatment. He had to do some scans and some blood work and some other things. Her scans were completely clear. Her blood work was great, and he was super impressed at how he called her Superwoman because she was responding so well to the treatment. Anyway, she went back for her second follow-up visit just about a week ago, and same thing. Great results. Things are looking great. So we are absolutely confident that that Carol's going to be fine. In fact, we knew as soon as we discovered that small lump in her breast 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, that God had sent Dr. Rubio to heal me 8.5 years ago, and he sent Dr. Rubio for Carol as well. So we were confident that God was going to heal her and use Dr. Rubio to do it. So she's doing fantastic. So if you would, though, keep Carol in your prayers that so that her treatment will continue to go well. And we're thinking that maybe 1, maybe 2 more follow-up visits is all it's going to take before we get a prognosis of cancer-free for her, just like I received from Dr. Rubio 8.5 years ago. So Jess, that's one of the updates. We moved to Mexico, moved back from Mexico. We're in Virginia. The kids are loving it back here in Virginia, having a great time at school and a great time at our amazing church here, Peninsula Community Chapel. And that's the update on our family. A lot of transition over the last 5 or 6 months for us here in the Peden household, but things are going well on that end. So I just want to give you an update. That's the announcement. So let me share with you what one of the first announcements. I told you a couple updates, and here's the first announcement. So kind of going through this whole cancer journey with Carol has really changed me and kind of convicted me. It's one thing to go through a situation yourself. I went through my cancer journey, and obviously Carol was there with me, and she went through as well. But it's one thing to go through it yourself, but it's a totally separate thing, totally different thing to watch your wife go through it, or your significant other. And some of you know what I'm talking about, especially the men who are watching. To watch your wife go through something tragic is a totally different feeling. Even though we knew or confident that God's going to heal her and use Dr. Rubio to do it just like he did for me, even though I know that, I still feel completely helpless and what I can do to help her. And, besides just pray for her, be there when she needs, rub her back if she's not feeling well, things like that. But I felt completely helpless. So when we were in Mexico for her initial treatment, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, that I've been talking about how I want to help others by sharing my story. And I've in addition to getting cured at Rubio, I've personally referred dozens of people to the Rubio Cancer Center who've all had similar results and become cancer free. But I'd also realized going through my cancer journey that cancer actually cured me. There's always a reason why God puts us through something. I think for me, it was a way for him letting me know that I had my priorities all out of whack and I needed to get them back in line. And so going through my cancer journey made me a better husband, a better father, even a better leader in my business, brought me closer to God and my relationship with him. It just made me better for it. So a friend of mine recommended that I write a book about it called Cancer Cured Me, because that's exactly how I feel. I feel like, yes, I've been cancer free and been cured of cancer now for 8.5 years, but cancer really cured me. And I wanted to share that story with others. And I don't know how to write a book, but I do know how to talk. So I decided to launch a podcast called Cancer Cured Me. And in fact, it was watching Carol go through her cancer journey, which I had the idea for the Cancer Cured Me book or podcast about 4 or 5 years ago, but it really convicted me this time watching her go through it. And I decided, what, I've got to get off my butt. And, I've been talking about doing a lot of stuff for years and never got around to it. So I think this is God's way, again, of making sure that I got to get off the pod and start doing what I said I was going to do, which is why I decided to launch the podcast. So I encourage you to go check it out. You can actually, it's available on all the podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, it's even on Amazon, I guess now, and all the different podcast platforms. you can actually listen to the first 2 episodes, and I highly recommend that you do by going to my personal website, russellpeden.com. You'll get to hear the first episode, which is me telling my story. The second episode is with an interview with my friend Brooks Werkheiser, who's the one who referred me to the Rubio Cancer Center 8.5 years ago. And I guarantee you're going to love that episode. So I'm interviewing people like myself who've gone through a cancer journey or some other life-threatening situation and come out not just healed or cured or healthier, but better for it, and now are making a difference in other people's lives as a result of going through their rather tragic situation. So that's what the podcast is all about. I love for you to check it out. I love for you to subscribe, share it with others, especially if you like it. I think you will. You get to hear, again, people like Brooks Werkheiser. You get to hear from my new friend Stephanie Kirk. She's an author. She wrote a book about for family members of people with cancer. Because as I mentioned, not only the cancer patients going through cancer, but the family members who are with them are also going through it as well. And so there's a lot of books out there for cancer patients, but not many books for the family members who are going through it as well. So she wrote an amazing book. You get to hear about that book in the interview with her. I think that's episode 3 of the Cancer Cured Me podcast. And then my new friend Brooks Clark, he's the last episode. I think he's episode number 5 or 6. He and I had the exact same cancer. You're going to love his interview. His story is amazing of what cancer did for him and how he's become so much closer to God as a result. So lots of great episodes, more to come. I'm interviewing people every week and got several more lined up for you. So that was the first announcement to let you know that I've launched a podcast and going to continue to add value and interview people. And I'm going to be interviewing doctors, not just cancer patients, but even Dr. Rubio, the guy who's cured me and so many of our friends and has cured my wife, Kill, right now. Dr. Bill is a new doctor that I just met, and many other cancer experts, alternative cancer experts, if you will, and things like that. So lots of amazing stories. If you know someone who's got a great story, they've overcome a situation, be it cancer or some other life-threatening disease, and as a result, they are better for it as a person, I'd love to meet them and possibly interview them on my new podcast. Going through this situation with Carol has really convicted me. I've been posting for years. I think I've been on Facebook for 10 or 15 years or something like that, at least 10 years. I guess I've been posting, as you know, if you follow me, I post a lot about entrepreneurship. I think everyone should be an entrepreneur, but I realized lately that that's not what it's all about. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Now, most people love what we do. Carol and I have been protecting and empowering individuals and families for over 30 years now. Next month will be 31 years that we've been partnered with Legal Shield, our amazing company that's been in business for over 50 years. So what you'd expect from me is a lot more lives, a lot more posts, adding value. In fact, one of the things that going with Carol's situation also made us thankful for and grateful for is the fact that because with our Legal Shield membership, we're able to set up our estate plan for ourselves, just to make sure our kids are taken care of should something happen to Carol and I, and we're able to get that taken care of, prepared at no additional cost as part of our Legal Shield membership. A will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney for me, and the same thing for Carol. No additional cost is just included in the already amazing value of our membership. All that and access to the best law firms in the country for less than $1 a day. So I'm going to be posting a lot more about estate plans, a lot more about Legal Shield and other benefits and how you can protect and empower your family. So just making you aware, less on the entrepreneurship stuff, but more on what it is that we do and how we do and how we are impacting people's lives every day by giving them access to justice, access to their rights via our Legal Shield membership. So just look for that. Just letting you know, a lot more posts and value here on my profile about that. And that's it, guys. I think that was the other announcement. Just I'm going to be posting a lot more. So just heavy about access to justice and access to your rights and other important things, life events that I think are important that I know our services can benefit from you. So if you've been offended by entrepreneurship, don't worry. I got a lot of good stuff coming your way. Just wanted to make you guys aware of that. So that's pretty much it. Wanted to give you an update on our family. A lot of transition, as I said, in the last 6 months. And especially with moving and then with Carol's situation, and then a couple of announcements with the podcast and the fact that I'm going hard and heavy and really making sure people understand the value of what it is that we do and how we can protect and empower you and your family for less than $1 a day with our incredible services. And that's it. So thanks for watching and looking forward to have you share this live. I mean, this is being recorded, so it'll stay here on my page. Oh, speaking of that, I know I did a live on Monday. if you didn't catch it, go back and watch. You can't watch it because I couldn't get my camera to work, but you can go back and listen to it. It was a pretty impactful live. I shared something that was shared with me on Sunday that I thought I had to share with the world. It talked about another reason why you want to get after your dreams today. You know, we all have dreams and goals. And look, I'm not going to get into it. You can go back and listen to the live that I did on Monday. Just scroll down on my page, you'll find it. And I encourage you to listen to it. I'm sharing with you something that was so profound and impactful to me that I just had to share with everyone I knew. I've been sharing with people every day this week since I heard about it last Sunday. So I encourage you to go back and watch my other live. Subscribe to the podcast if you can, or follow the podcast. Share with others if you know someone who's going through a cancer journey. You know, share the podcast with them so they can be inspired. I mean, the whole point of the podcast was for me to, this is my way of giving back, to inspire others, to let people know, hey, you know, cancer does not have to be a death sentence. And maybe hearing my story, or Bruce's story, or Brooks Workhouser's story, even Stephanie Curry's story about her sister, that might inspire you or inspire your friend who's going through cancer, to give them something to hold on to and kind of pull them through their situation, to know that, hey, cancer does not have to be a death sentence. People do die, but you know, God may have given you this cancer for a reason, like he did me. And so that's the point of the podcast, just to interview and share and highlight amazing people who've gone through some incredible journeys and come out on the other side and are now changing people's lives as a result. So I encourage you to do that. Listen to the podcast, share the podcast, say anything with this live. So thanks for watching, everyone. I think I'm good. I want to get it done in about 15 minutes, and we're at 16 minutes now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next live coming up soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.